Hey, I recently finished launching a new doctoral program initiative at the university. And one of the things that I learned in looking back at the last 9 to 12 months is there were 5 key things that you have to pay attention to when you're launching a new product, a new program, a new initiative, a new strategy. So as I unpacked these and thought about these, I also reflected on what specifically is involved in each of these 5, and how do you know you're making progress? So let me share those with you. Number 1, when you're crafting vision for something fresh and new, make sure you're talking to yes people. I know yes people get a bad name sometimes, but in this case, you want yes people. And those people are people with the right attitude and people willing to take real action. The right attitude kind of people are innovators, early adopters, people that as you start to have conversations, they light up because they're fresh thinkers and they're willing to look at something before critiquing it or saying no or saying, here's 7 reasons why that won't work. You want to begin crafting vision and thinking ideas with yes people. And you want real action people, people likely to be players, to be joining the team that's going to build the new thing or execute on the new thing. Not just commentators who will give you advice from afar. You know, whether you're talking about sports or talking about something in the music world or whatever, there's always people that give critique or commentators, right? And you know when a commentator has been also a player or a doer and when they have not. And so you want people who are action people because they are the people that are going to roll up their sleeves and try to be part of the team, part of the initiative, try to helping you craft this. So you don't want no people on your let's change the world team. Okay? All right. Second, win hearts and minds. Don't just talk to the mind. Don't just talk to the heart. You have to do both. Heart questions are what if questions. What if we could solve this problem, remove this pain, address this need, raise this money? What if we could cut your time in half? What if we could double the leaders you have? Those kinds of things have people moving emotionally and they feel the problem that you're solving. They say yes, or they see the opportunity and they say yes, and their heart is moved. But you need to engage the mind as well. People that go to the mind first ask, what could this look like if we did this? Or I wonder what should be the first step? What solution can I bring to this? So they are solve it kind of people. They'll start to play with the mechanics of it, if you will. So you need to win both hearts and minds. And the check here to know that is this working is if people are still thinking about it later, they still are really checking in on whether the conversation you had at 10 o'clock is important to them. Are they still feeling and thinking the content, the movement, all that was going on in their heart 2 hours later when they have some white space time or when they're on a break or having a cup of coffee? Is it still with them? That's how you know you're getting hearts and minds. Third, talk content and process, not just one or the other. This is, as a friend of mine said, buckets and flows. This is the buckets or the categories things go in, the content, the do. What is it we have to do, the main pieces. But then how do things move together? How does it roll out? Academics are typically content people. They're good at that. If they're experts, they're great at asking what. What specifically has to be delivered with content. But process people are saying, well, yeah, but how? How will it be delivered? How does this all work together? And so the check here is things are happening well if the content and process folks are working together on this and starting to come up with fresh ways of crafting and creating this initiative. Fourth, I learned this, frame it before you have to name it. Frame it before you name it. Get buy-in on the framework. In other words, the big buckets or the big categories or the big movements before you have to get all the details worked out and every little part named. Don't worry about the specifics yet. Worry more about, are the right pieces in place? Are they in the right order? Are the right people going to lead them and connect to them? And get ownership for those key buckets, those key parts of the framework. What you want here is structural clarity, not functional certainty. That'll come later, but early on, frame it first. Get approval for the framework, get buy-in on the framework, and then you can populate the framework. And then fifth, get sign-off from key stakeholders. Those are people at the top, and those are your end users. The people with the most authority and people with the greatest interest. The most authority people would be leaders who have decision rights, can allocate resources, time, people, whatever's needed to help get the thing going. Sometimes they're just people that need to sign off, whether that's literally or whether that's just philosophically. They say, great, go for that, Bill. I remember one of the leaders in our organization, Bill, I love this idea. Go for it. Go build it. Go design it. So people with the most authority and then people with the greatest interest. This is where you're going to have to test the market. who's out there, who might respond. You might have to do a little market research or send a few things out to see if there's interest. We posted a video and we had people responding to it and saying, I'd like to talk more about that. It reminds me of my son who went fishing recently in the Chicago area, not known for great fishing. He was fishing for an hour or two, caught nothing. And then he said, Dad, I changed lures. I found a lure that Grandpa had made for me, and he's passed since. But Grandpa made this for me, and so I put it on. I caught 22 fish in an hour. I said, are you kidding me? But I realized, of course, he changed lures. So what you want here is to know who are the yes people in this category. When your decision makers become yes people, that's how you know you're getting sign off from the stakeholders at the bottom and the top. So I hope those 5 things, as you consider them, help you frame, design, and launch a great initiative.